Here with Concordia head tennis coach David DeSimone to preview the 2020-21 seasons, which did get started with a few outings back in the fall, but most of your season is yet to come. With those fall matches, what was kind of some of the emotion like and the anticipation like, just getting back out there after unfortunately having everything come to an end so suddenly back last spring?
Yeah, so obviously last spring was a little bit of a disappointment for everyone. Going into our spring break trip and having a full spring break of matches, but still having it be the end of our season was not how we wanted to finish it out. But coming back this fall and having a more or less true fall season for us was really fun, really exciting. It's a different feel and different atmosphere in the fall for tennis, just being more individual focused with the individual tournaments. Still a few dual matches in there, one for each team this past season for the fall. And the individual tournaments are great. They're an opportunity to get a ton of matches in and see how our teams are going to compete and where we'll be going into the fall, or going into the spring, sorry. And it is just a different feel and different type of format and setting, just not having the team duels as much, but still good, still fun, and we're really excited knowing what we need to do going into this spring season.
I wanted to start with the women's side. They did play William Jewell College in the fall and got a win there, and as you mentioned, a couple of tournaments more individually focused. What were some of your takeaways from what you saw on the women's side?
Yeah, so on the women's side, we brought in a pretty good freshman this year, Sophie Morales from Columbia, and she came in and made a difference for us in that first duel against William Jewell. She played 2 singles for us and got a win there. She was a little nervous, she'd be the first to tell you that, but coming in, getting a win under her belt and helping out the team was a good way to start. And then she had a pretty good tournament at the GPAC individual tournament in Lincoln as well. Had a good run, lost to the eventual champion there, and had some good results and played pretty well overall. So she was a bright spot for sure, and I think overall as a team, like I said, having some matches was really important, really beneficial for us, and the individual tournaments are great because we get matches, we know what we can and need to work on with each individual player, and we can do that for a few more weeks in the fall and then start off the beginning of our spring season hitting those things hard and really putting in some good work with each individual player and their game. So.
Well, same thing with the men who also played against William Jewell in the same couple tournaments. What were your takeaways there?
Yeah, so with the William Jewell match, that was a team that we lost to last year, and to come back this past fall and get a win against a different William Jewell team. They had graduated some players, but still a good, solid team and program, and so that was very exciting for us. A good way to start our year, a good way to start our season. I was impressed by our depth overall in the fall. I'll be the first to tell you we don't have a huge standout number 1 player right now at the moment, and so we're going to be very solid throughout our whole entire lineup, and we're going to win some good matches that way, like we saw against William Jewell, just having good solid players at each and every spot. So we're looking forward to that.
Well, in various sports at Concordia, we have some seniors that decided to stick around for basically their 5th years in the program, and you have someone like that with Luke Zoller What does his experience and presence mean for the men's team?
Yeah, Luke brings a lot to our squad. First of all, a high level of maturity, especially being here now for his fifth season, and just a little bit of comfort, if you will. Having him back on the team when we really weren't sure in the summer if he was going to be here or not, but having him back and just a good sense of comfort and familiarity with the guys, and he'll bring again some more depth to our squad, and just another very good, solid, experienced player for us.
And there's quite a bit of familiarity on the men's lineup. You've got other guys like Jeremy Berryman, Isaac Howes, Jack Kitson, Joseph Bindle, etc., that have played quite a bit of college tennis, even with last season being cut short. But what have you enjoyed about seeing their growth and their development?
Yeah, they've certainly been valuable members of our squad over the past few years, and just seeing them continue to mature and continue to grow in their tennis games is pretty fun and exciting. So to give you an example, for Joe Bindle, he's honestly playing some of the best tennis of his life right now, and he's put in some good work over the summer and over winter break, and just owning his game. I think that's the big thing for a lot of our players on our team, is just owning their game, not trying to be anyone that they're not trying to hit big serves when they just need to spin it in a little bit, or go for aggressive forehands when they're 10 feet behind the baseline. Having a little bit more tennis IQ, being smarter tennis players, and really developing their mature games is fun to see and fun to be a part of.
Sticking with the men's side for another question, Luke Johnson's one of the new players on the team, and he got some experience in the fall, was in the lineup against William Jewell as well. But what does he bring to the team?
Yeah, Luke's a really good kid. He's got a family of Concordia background within his family. I think all his family members, all his brothers and sisters have gone here, and so he's pretty familiar with the campus and community, and he's a good athlete. He's got a lot of good potential to really grow his game and really take it to the next level. We're working with him on a few minor details and technique-oriented improvements and fixes, and I think if he's really able to continue to develop those, he'll take his game really to the next level and be a true contributor to the middle, the top of our starting lineup in the next couple of years. So I'm excited about his potential and the growth that he's shown so far, and we'll keep putting in the work with him to make it happen.
On the women's side, you also have some experienced players back. Looking at veterans, Tara Farrell, Ansley Gates, Claudia Miranda Vieira, what stands out to you about that group?
Yeah, like you said, they're a veteran group. They've played a lot of matches and have a lot of experience, and so kind of like with the men, they're really growing their games and maturing as tennis players. So going for the right shots when they're in position or out of position is something that we've really been talking about a lot recently and really been hammering home in practice. And so, seeing those things put into play is really beneficial for us and really helping us grow as a team. And it really helps those younger players out too, just seeing that that's the level that I can be at, that I need to be at. They're not overall far and away better tennis players. They're just smarter tennis players. And that's really the next step for us, is owning in on the just being smart tennis players out there, owning in on our individual games and really taking that next step that way.
A couple more things. You mentioned Sophie Morales already, but maybe you can expand a little bit on her potential and where she fits in moving forward.
Yeah, so she's forming herself to be one of the top players in our conference, I'd say. You know, she definitely competes with some of the other top players in our region. I think she's got a little bit more growth and maturity to do to really take it to that next level, and just owning her game, like I was saying earlier. You know, she's got to just continue to develop those skills that she has and make sure that she's utilizing the right shot at the right time. And I think if she's able to really do that and really get a few more matches under her belt, she'll be a tough out at any spot in the lineup that she's playing. So
This is your third season. I don't know if you've had a full season technically with the way things have worked out since you've been here, but how much closer do you feel like you're getting of kind of establishing the culture and the identity you want to have for both your men's and women's teams?
yeah, I don't know that culture is ever something that's solidified. I think it's always fluid. I think it's always changing and adapting. But you know, I think we have a really good group of players, both on the men's side and the women's side. Just allowing them to take some ownership and leadership and initiative with what they're doing is the next step for us in terms of how we're creating culture and how we're continuing to develop as players. But I think we're, you know, making those strides and taking those steps towards that.
And lastly, as we record this, some preseason rankings just came out for tennis, and both teams third in the conference in those ratings. Usually they don't necessarily mean a lot in the preseason, but what do you talk about as far as expectations? I know on the women's side, the last time there was a GPAC tournament, they came very close to winning a conference championship, but what do you talk about in terms of expectations?
Yeah, our expectations for both teams are the same this year as they are every year, to be playing our best tennis at the end of the season when it really matters most, both conference regular season and postseason tournament. I think if we're putting in the work and getting some good quality matches in our non-conference part of our season, we'll be able to make a good push for a conference title. And so that's the goal each and every year. I think this year it's going to look a little bit different. I mean, you always battle with injuries and who's in and out of a lineup, but this year with COVID, I mean, it's even more heightened. So we've got to be on, we've got to be playing our best and taking care of our bodies as tennis players, and just really make the most of each and every opportunity that we have to be on court.